Basic understanding of the UI3 update dropped by Figma. So for a beginner, this is going to be an intensive guide, but for this first video is going to be a short 5-minute video on understanding Figma. So here we have our design and our prototype. So on this particular place where we have our page, you can use this place to toggle between the color you want your canvas to look like, but I would advise you either stick with the dark mode or the light mode, so your visuals or your color won't be contrasting with whatever it is you have in mind to work with. And then on this section here we have the title, so you can always tap here to edit your title to whatever it is you want to edit it to. And then here we have the options for you to see your version history, the export, duplicate, and other things, even rename here as well. Then this place can easily take you to the Figma file where you can play around with whatever it is that they have on the Figma. You can also use this to change your preference, whether you want a light theme or a dark theme, or your system theme. But I'm a light dark theme person, so I'm just going to leave it at that. Then if we go down here, we are going to see that we have various shapes here, and by default it's set on the design section. And on this design section we have so many tools that we use to have an amazing design on Figma. Here we have the move tool. Once you click on the arrow here, you're going to see we have the hand tool and we have the scale tool. Here we'll have our frame, and then we'll have our selection and our slides. Here we'll have our shapes, and then we also have options for you to input your images and video. Note that not all plans have access to inputting videos, but for images here you can play around with it. Then this place is your pen tool and your pencil tool. Your text, your comment, annotation, measurements are all here, so you can interact with people around you that's focused on the particular design file, and they can drop comments and give you feedback on your design. And on this other place we have our actions, where we have our new AI available by Figma, creating images and to edit your image, replace content, and there are lots more here. And we have our plugin. Plugin is very important because we have so many things that you want to utilize that it makes your work easy. Like you can get your emojis, you can get your icons, you can change things. There are a lot of things you can do with plugins. Then on this section here we have our draw. So our draw is if you are maybe into drawing like illustrations and all. We have our pen tool, we have our brush tool, and then we have our pencil tool with similar features that are available on the design mode. Then for the dev mode, it's when developers come here, they see your design and all the things that comes with your design, and then they can copy it and see the HTML unit and everything. Anyway, it still depends on your plan. So we're going to move over to the design mode because that's what we are going to use to start. And for you to start your frame for the first time, you're going to make use of a frame. Your design for the first time, you make use of a frame. So we have our mobile frame, and then we have our desktop frame and other frames available. Now you notice that this particular place is highlighted, which shows you that we are currently on the move to, which makes it easier for you to move on anything. Then we have the shortcut for frame, which is F. You see here is highlighted, and there are a little bit of changes that occurred here. If you're designing for phone, you just scroll down here and then you select the phone that you want to design for. But we are going to move with desktop here, and we are going to make use of desktop, which is 1404 pixel. So you zoom in. So to zoom in here, you can actually use this particular place to zoom in if you don't want to, or use your mouse or your trackpad to zoom in to see your design. So you zoom in to get a perfect fit of your design. You want to input text here, you just click on your text tool or the shortcut T, and then you type in whatever it is you want to type. Like we say, hello, I'm glad to have you here. So as I've typed this, you see that it's a little bit tiny. That's because you're making use of 12 being the default, and you can also change your font size, your front here. You can also change your font size to whatever it is you want it to be, just like your doc file and everything. And you can always play around with the weight of your font to whatever it is you want it to be. You'll notice that when we added our text here, you're going to notice that our right hand side, the place we have our design, the tab there changed, and we have so many functionalities here. We have the alignment tools here, we have our X and Y axis, we also have our positioning, how you want it to be, we have our rotate, our vertical, horizontal, and everything. We also have our layout, how you want this text to feel like. We have our typography here. These are the settings for the typography, and then we'll have our colors as well. If you want stroke, effect, export, like all these things happens when you are here. And because we added this on a frame, you notice that by your left hand side that this particular hello, I'm glad to have you here, is directly under this desktop, and whenever we move this file, it moves together with yours. But if you had done something like making use of the shape, and let's say we clicked on the square, we can drag and drop it to whatever it is we prefer. If I carry this hello, I'm glad to see you, and I can duplicate it. To duplicate is Ctrl D for duplicate, or you hold your Alt key and you drag it here, right? So I want to show you the differences between the frame tool and making use of shape for your design. So here on this frame tool, I've added this one here, right? But if I click on this and I move it, you see this one get left behind because this does not recognize, this is just a shape, it's not being recognized as a parent frame. But here this one is recognized as a frame. That is why anything you input inside here, so far as it's here, it's going to be saved here and locked in. You don't need to stress yourself, so it's advisable you work with this. Then here we have our move to hand tool. So for your hand tool, it enables you to move left, right, front, back, so it's easier for you, so you don't play around with whatever it is that you have. Then we have our scale tool. So scale tool is a way to ensure that whatever it is that you scale will remain the way it is, and they are going to play around with this. You will notice that our shape here, it's kind of changed at all. So I'm going to tap on this desktop here and I will just move it like this. Have you seen it? It retained everything, but most times when you make use of the scale tool, it comes out with decimals and all those things. So you would love to remove decimals so it's easier for the developers to work with. So to undo the actions that we had done before, we're going to make use of Ctrl Z. Ctrl Z will help us to undo the actions we had done before. That's for this. Then we have our shape tool. So for our shape tool, we have our rectangle, I've displayed that. We have our line, we have our arrow. So for the line, you just move it like this. So if you want to get a perfectly straight line, this one I just dragged it, right? You see that it's not straight. But if I hold down my shift key and activate my line tool again, you're going to see that it's going to give me a perfectly straight line, unlike the first one that wasn't really straight. So whenever you're dealing with line or whatever, you want to hold down your shift key if you want a perfectly straight line. And we also have here our ellipses, our arrows, polygons, stars, and all. They're just the same thing, just play around with it. When you tap on it, it gives you by default 100 by 100. Then there are shortcuts to it. You see by this side here, they drop some shortcuts that you can use to access this easily. So if you just tap on your screen like this, by default you're going to get 100 by 100 of any of the shape tools that you clicked on by default. If you just like the shortcut for ellipses is 0, sorry, is O. So when you click on this, you see 100 by 100, 100 by 100, 100 by 100. Then for the comments here, I can come here and maybe I drop a comment here and I'll be like, you see, I can drag the comment to whatever it is, and it's going to open a modal where I can now type in whoever it is I want to, and I can always use this Alt. When I click on the Alt, it's going to show me people that have access to this file, and then I can tag them and they get notification on their end, and they can easily come back to this file and get the exact place that you want them to make a correction or whatnot that comes with it. So that is for the comment too. Then for the annotation, when you've done a design and you are handing over to the devs, so you can always click on this annotation to drop an extra note for the dev. Maybe you tell them that this is a headline, right? Once you click on enter or outside the box, you're going to see, you see, this is where your annotation is placed. So whenever they come here, they are going to see the options here. Then for our actions here, we have a lot of features here, and I'm just going to make use of the plugins for instance. So when you go for the plugins, we are going to make use of Iconify. Iconify is a plugin that you use to get different icons that you want to use, and for you to be able to access this, you want to be online to have access to your Iconify, because most plugins do not run without your data being on. So when your Iconify loads up, you can search for any particular icons that you want. We have the plus icons, we have the measurements, we have anything doc file, so you can search for whatever icon you want. So if you want emojis, you can just search for emojis, and then it's going to show you varieties of emojis that are available. on this particular section. You see we have our smiley, and then when you tap on either of them, now on this icon, if I want you to note something, you're going to see that there's some icons that are darker and there's some icons that are like normal. So these icons that are darker are known as a fill icon, while these ones that are like this are known as an outline. And as a designer, you want to be consistent with your icons. If you're making use of an outline, you want to stick with an outline throughout. If you're making use of a fill icon, you want to stick with the fill icon throughout. So we are going to select this one, a happy face, and you can easily export it in either a component or a frame. So we just move to exporting it as a frame. Once you've clicked on that, you see it will appear here. You can easily close it or you can drag it down in case you want to use it again, right? So you have your icons here. You can search for whatever icon you want and you are going to see it on this platform. I think that's enough for today. In our next video, I'm going to have a deep dive on how to work, how to design maybe basic hero section or landing page and all. I think that's all for today. In our next video, I'm going to elaborate more on other sections of Figma. Thank you.